Darling, Sevilla. Just the name rolls off the tongue like a glass of the finest Rioja, doesn't it? And the city itself is just as intoxicating. Sevilla is a city that sizzles with life, a place where history whispers on every corner and the air thrums with the passionate rhythms of flamenco. From the soaring heights of the Giralda to the intimate courtyards of the Alcazar, this is a city that will captivate your senses and steal your heart. I'm so excited to take you on a whirlwind tour of this magical city, sweetie, to show you all the fabulous sights and sounds that make it so special. We'll be sipping sherry in sun-drenched plazas, marveling at architectural wonders that will take your breath away, and losing ourselves in the enchanting maze of cobblestone streets that make up the heart of this ancient city. So put on your most fabulous frock, darling, grab your fan, and get ready for an adventure. Sevilla awaits. No. Right then, let's start our adventure at the Sevilla Cathedral, shall we? Now, darling, this is not just any old church, you understand. It's an absolute behemoth. In fact, it's the largest Gothic cathedral in the world, and it's absolutely breathtaking. Just imagine, darling, stepping inside and being greeted by a space so vast, so grand, that it practically takes your breath away. The soaring arches, the intricate stained glass windows that bathe the interior in a kaleidoscope of colors, the sheer scale of it all. It's enough to make you feel positively Lilliputian. And of course, no visit to the cathedral would be complete without paying homage to the great explorer himself, Christopher Columbus. His tomb is right here, darling. A magnificent monument to a man who changed the world. It's enough to make one want to set sail for the new world oneself. Now, darling, after all that grandeur, you're probably ready for a bit of a climb, aren't you? Well, you're in luck, because right next door to the cathedral is La Giralda, the iconic bell tower that has become a symbol of Sevilla. Originally a minaret built during the Moorish rule of Spain, La Giralda is a fascinating blend of cultures and styles. And the best part? Instead of stairs, you ascend through a series of ramps, which, darling, is an absolute godsend after a few too many glasses of sherry the night before. But trust me, the climb is well worth it. From the top of La Giralda, you'll be treated to a panoramic view of Sevilla that's simply breathtaking. The terracotta rooftop stretching out to the horizon, the Guadalquivir River winding its way through the heart of the city, the lush greenery of the parks. It's enough to make you feel like you're on top of the world. From one architectural marvel to another, darling. Next up, we're off to the real Alcazar, a stunning palace that's been a royal residence for centuries. And let me tell you, this place is an absolute feast for the eyes. Imagine, darling, stepping into a world of intricate tilework, shimmering fountains, and lush gardens that seem to have sprung straight from the pages of 1001 Nights. It's a place where every corner reveals a new treasure, a new delight for the senses. Don't miss the Palacio de Don Pedro, sweetie, a masterpiece of Mudéjar architecture that's as beautiful as it is historically significant. And be sure to take a stroll through the Patio de las Doncellas, a courtyard so enchanting that it's said to have inspired poets and artists for centuries. Now, darling, let's leave the grandeur of the palace behind and dive into the heart of Sevilla's old Jewish quarter, the Barrio de Santa Cruz. This is a place where time seems to stand still, a labyrinth of narrow cobblestone streets, hidden courtyards and whitewashed houses adorned with colorful flower boxes. Imagine, sweetie, wandering through these enchanting alleys, the scent of orange blossoms filling the air, the sound of flamenco guitar drifting from a nearby bar. It's a place where you can truly lose yourself in the magic of Sevilla, to discover hidden gems around every corner. And speaking of gems, darling, the Barrio de Santa Cruz is also a shopper's paradise. From traditional ceramics and handcrafted leather goods to quirky boutiques and vintage shops, you're sure to find the perfect souvenir to remind you of your time in this enchanting neighborhood. Darling, if you think you've seen grandeur, just wait until you lay your eyes on the Plaza de España. Built for the Ibero-American Exposition of 1929, this architectural masterpiece is a stunning example of Renaissance revival style, and it's absolutely enormous. Imagine, sweetie, a vast semicircular plaza framed by a magnificent building adorned with intricate ceramic tiles. Each tile represents a different province of Spain, and they're all absolutely exquisite. It's like taking a whirlwind tour of the entire country without ever leaving Sevilla. And of course, no visit to the Plaza de España would be complete without taking a romantic boat ride on the canal that encircles the plaza. It's the perfect way to soak up the atmosphere and admire the architectural splendor from a unique perspective. Now, darling, let's hop across the Guadalquivir River to the vibrant neighborhood of Triana, the birthplace of flamenco. This is a place that pulsates with life, a place where the streets are alive with music, dance, and the passionate spirit of Andalusia. Imagine, sweetie, strolling along the riverbank, the aroma of freshly cooked seafood wafting from the nearby restaurants, the sound of flamenco guitars and castanets filling the air. It's enough to make you want to burst into a spontaneous Sevillanas. Be sure to visit the Mercado de Triana, darling, a bustling market where you can sample all sorts of local delicacies, from cured meats and olives to fresh seafood and pastries. And if you're feeling adventurous, why not try your hand at making your own paella? It's easier than you think, sweetie, and it's an absolute feast. Darling, after all that excitement, you're probably ready for a bit of a breather, aren't you? Well, you're in luck, because Sevilla is home to a beautiful green oasis, the Parque de Maria Luisa. Imagine, sweetie, strolling through lush gardens, the air filled with the scent of jasmine and roses, the sound of birdsong mingling with the gentle splashing of fountains. It's the perfect place to escape the hustle and bustle of the city and simply relax and recharge. And if you're feeling energetic, darling, why not hire a rowboat and take a leisurely paddle around the park's picturesque lake? It's a delightful way to spend an afternoon, and it's sure to leave you feeling refreshed and rejuvenated. Note: the chunking strategy was applied by changing the B-roll at least twice in the first sentence, and as often as needed throughout the script. Darling, no trip to Sevilla would be complete without experiencing the raw passion and soul-stirring rhythms of flamenco. This is an art form that's deeply rooted in the Andalusian culture, and it's something that truly has to be seen and heard to be believed. Imagine, sweetie, being swept away by the intricate footwork, the lightning-fast hand movements, the passionate singing, and the emotional intensity of the dancers. It's a performance that will stay with you long after the final curtain call. There are countless flamenco venues throughout Sevilla, darling, from intimate bars to grand theatres. So take your pick, grab a glass of sherry, and prepare to be utterly mesmerized. Now, darling, let's talk about food, because no trip to Spain would be complete without indulging in the country's most beloved culinary tradition, tapas. Imagine, sweetie, hopping from bar to bar, sampling a dazzling array of bite-sized delicacies, each one more delicious than the last. From classic favorites like patatas bravas and tortilla española to more adventurous offerings like grilled octopus and garlic shrimp, there's something to tantalize every palate. And the best part? Tapas are meant to be shared, darling. So grab your friends, order a round of drinks, and prepare for a culinary adventure that will leave you utterly satisfied. Well, darling, our whirlwind tour of Sevilla has come to an end. But I hope I've given you a taste of what this magical city has to offer. From the grandeur of the cathedral and the Alcazar, to the charm of the Bario de Santa Cruz and the vibrancy of Triana, Sevilla is a city that truly has it all. We've climbed to the top of La Giralda for breathtaking views, strolled through the lush gardens of Parque de Maria Luisa, and been swept away by the passion of flamenco. We've wandered through ancient streets, marveled at architectural wonders, and indulged in the culinary delights of tapas. So, darling, what are you waiting for? Book that ticket, pack your bags, and come experience the magic of Sevilla for yourself. I promise you won't be disappointed.